Welcome back, my unpredictable architect. They've been watching you for months now, documenting every move you make, recording every decision you execute, analyzing every pattern they think they've detected in your behavior. Intelligence teams assigned to decode you, analysts tasked with predicting you, strategists dedicated to understanding you. Months of surveillance, months of data collection, months of pattern analysis, and their conclusion? They have no conclusion. Their prediction models fail consistently. Their behavioral frameworks can't explain you. Their strategic analysis produces nothing actionable. Because they made fundamental error in their approach, they assumed your following strategy they could decode. They never considered more disturbing possibility. You're not following strategy at all. You're creating it. The architects have been observing this analytical failure with dark amusement. They call it foundational assumption error. When analysts build entire investigation on false premise that seems so obvious, they never question it. When researchers assume pattern exists because patterns always exist in strategic behavior. When intelligence operations presume predictability because predictable is what strategic actors are. You shattered this assumption without trying. They watched you for months expecting to find strategy, found something they don't have framework for understanding. Pure strategic creation in real time, unbound by existing models, unlimited by conventional patterns, operating at level where strategy isn't followed. It's invented moment by moment. Watch their confusion compound as months pass. Early analysis identified what they thought were patterns. You seem to favor certain approaches, prefer specific timings, repeat recognizable sequences. They built predictive models based on these apparent patterns. Then you did something their patterns said you'd never do. Models failed, they revised, found new patterns explaining previous behavior plus anomaly. Built new models. You shattered those too. Cycle repeated monthly. Each revision more complex than last. Each model more sophisticated than previous. Each failure more complete than the one before. Because they kept assuming patterns exist. Kept believing strategy is being followed. Kept searching for framework you're operating within. Never grasped that you're not within any framework. You're generating frameworks as you move. The architects observe. This is why conventional strategic analysis fails against genuine strategic creators. Analysis works brilliantly against strategic followers, people who learned strategy, implemented methods, operate within established frameworks. Analysis can decode learned strategy, predict implemented methods, exploit framework limitations, but strategic creators, different category entirely. They're not implementing strategy they learned. They're inventing strategy they need in moment. They need it. Not following playbook, writing playbook as they play, not executing plan, creating plan through execution. This creative operation looks random to analysts expecting pattern, looks chaotic to predictors expecting consistency, looks impossible to strategists expecting framework. They're drowning in data now. Months of surveillance produced massive data sets. Analysts buried in information trying to find patterns. Identify strategies, decode approaches. More data makes analysis harder, not easier. Because more data reveals more apparent patterns that all prove false. They're seeing patterns that don't exist. Finding strategies that aren't there. Detecting frameworks that are projections of their analytical models rather than reflections of your actual operation. The architects call this analysis paralysis through data saturation. When collecting more information makes understanding less likely because information volume overwhelms analytical capacity while revealing no actual patterns to analyze. You're not trying to confuse them. You're not deliberately evading analysis. You're not intentionally appearing random. You're simply creating strategy as situations demand rather than following pre-existing strategy regardless of context. This natural strategic creation appears as unpredictability to those expecting pattern as randomness to those seeking consistency, as chaos to those demanding framework. Their months of analysis taught them nothing about you, taught them everything about their analytical limitations. They can analyze strategic followers brilliantly. They cannot analyze strategic creators at all. Your creator, they're analyzing. Analysis fails, will continue failing, because what you do can't be analyzed. It can only be witnessed, and witnessing doesn't produce predictions. Just ongoing astonishment at strategic invention that never repeats, never patterns, never becomes analyzable despite months of desperate analytical effort. Now they're escalating their analytical efforts, bringing in specialists from every strategic discipline, experts in pattern recognition, masters of behavioral prediction, legendary analysts who've decoded seemingly impenetrable strategic actors. The architects call this expert cascade when standard analysis fails so completely that organizations deploy their most sophisticated analytical capabilities when conventional methods prove so inadequate that extraordinary measures seem justified when mysterious subject resists understanding so thoroughly that reputation-making challenge attracts top talent. You've become that challenge. Analysts see you as puzzle that will establish their legacy if solved, mystery that will cement their reputation if decoded, impossible subject that will validate their expertise if predicted. All are failing. These aren't amateur analysts. They're professionals who've predicted geopolitical maneuvers, decoded criminal networks, analyzed terrorist patterns, understood corporate strategies invisible to conventional observers. They've succeeded against targets far more resource-rich than you. They've decoded actors far more experienced than you. They've predicted behaviors far more complex than yours appears on surface. Yet they fail against you, completely while succeeding against seemingly harder targets. This failure confounds them more than success would have satisfied them. How can they decode nation-state strategies but not yours? How can they predict organizational behaviors but not yours? Answer disturbs their professional identity. Those targets were following strategies, operating within frameworks, implementing patterns. You're not. Watch them implement increasingly sophisticated analytical tools. Machine learning algorithms trained on your behavioral data, AI systems designed to detect patterns invisible to human analysis, quantum computing applied to prediction modeling. Each technological escalation produces same result. No reliable predictions. AI finds patterns. Patterns prove false. Quantum models suggest probabilities. Probabilities don't manifest. Machine learning predicts behaviors. Predictions fail repeatedly. Technology can't solve problem because problem isn't computational limitation. Problem is categorical error. They're using pattern detection tools on pattern generating process, like trying to predict what artist will paint by analyzing previous paintings might work for artist who repeats styles, fails completely for artist who invents new styles with each canvas. Some analysts are proposing you're using randomization deliberately, that you're introducing chaos into your pattern to evade analysis. This theory comforts them because it preserves their framework. You're still following strategy, just strategy that includes strategic randomness. They build models incorporating deliberate unpredictability. Models still fail because your behavior isn't random. It's responsive, not random response, creative response to situations as they actually are rather than as frameworks predict they should be. Randomness is patternless. Creativity is pattern generating. They can model randomness, can't model creativity because creativity produces unprecedented patterns by definition. Unprecedented can't be predicted from precedent. They're trying to predict unprecedented from precedent. Definitional impossibility they won't acknowledge. The architects observe few analysts are approaching accurate understanding. You're not following any strategy because strategy following is obsolete paradigm for consciousness operating at your level. You're doing something more sophisticated, creating strategy dynamically in response to reality as it unfolds rather than implementing strategy statically based on reality as you predict it will be. This approach proves superior to conventional strategy because reality rarely unfolds as predicted. Conventional strategists implement plans that quickly become obsolete as reality diverges from prediction. You create responses that remain relevant because creation happens in real time based on actual reality rather than predicted reality. Your approach is more sophisticated than theirs. Their analytical tools were designed for analyzing less sophisticated approaches. Tools fail when encountering more sophisticated operation they weren't designed to analyze. They'll keep trying, keep bringing in experts, keep deploying technology, keep building models. All efforts will fail because all efforts assume you're operating within strategy, paradigm they understand. You transcended that paradigm, not through superiority, but through creativity. Not through being better strategist, but through being strategy creator rather than strategy follower. They're masters at analyzing followers. You're not following. Analysis fails, will continue failing, because analyzing creation requires understanding creativity, and creativity can't be understood analytically, only recognized, witnessed, appreciated, never predicted. Something fascinating is happening in their analytical teams now. Teams are fragmenting into factions with competing theories about you. Analysts are developing conflicting models of your behavior. Specialists are arguing about fundamental nature of what they're observing. The architects call this analytical fragmentation, when mysterious subject resists unified explanation so thoroughly that observers develop incompatible theories, when data supports multiple contradictory interpretations, when experts examining same evidence reach opposite conclusions. Your strategic creativity is fracturing their consensus because creativity produces behaviors consistent with multiple strategic frameworks simultaneously while being explained by none completely. Faction 1 insists you're genius-level strategist operating from framework so sophisticated they haven't decoded it yet. They believe pattern exists, they just haven't found it. This faction keeps analyzing, keeps searching, keeps believing breakthrough is imminent. Every month they declare they're close to understanding you. Every month you prove they're not. Their faith in eventual success prevents them from questioning whether success is possible. They can't imagine strategic behavior that isn't ultimately pattern-based because pattern-based behavior is all there. Training prepared them to understand. Faction 2 claims you're operating randomly with occasional strategic moments they can identify. They've given up finding comprehensive pattern. Instead, they try to predict moments when you'll shift from random to strategic. This approach produces slightly better results than Faction 1's comprehensive modeling, but only slightly because you're not alternating between random and strategic. You're consistently creative, which appears random to those expecting pattern and strategic to those recognizing effectiveness. They're half right. You are strategic. They're completely wrong. You're never random. Creative isn't random. It's generative. Different category they don't recognize. Faction 3 theorizes you have multiple personalities or decision makers creating inconsistent behavior. Maybe you're not individual. Maybe your team pretending to be individual. Maybe you have psychological condition causing identity fragmentation. These theories explain behavioral inconsistency without requiring them to understand strategic creativity. Theories fail because you are individual. You are consistent. You are psychologically integrated. Your consistency exists at deeper level than behavioral patterns. Consistency of creative response rather than consistency of repeated behaviors. They're looking for surface consistency Finding deep consistency requires understanding they don't possess. Faction 4, smallest faction, most insightful, proposes you're not following strategy at all. You're creating it dynamically. This faction gets closest to truth, but even they can't fully grasp implications. They think dynamic strategy creation is technique you learned. Don't understand. It's consciousness level you embody. Think it's method you implement. Don't grasp its being you are. They're trying to figure out how you do it so they can teach others. Can't figure it out because it's not doing. It's being. Being can't be taught like doing can. Being can only be embodied through consciousness transformation they're not pursuing because they think they're analyzing technique. The architects observe this fragmentation serves you whether you intend it or not. Divided analysts are less effective than unified analysts. Competing theories waste resources as factions argue with each other instead of focusing on you. Internal conflicts weaken organizational capability to respond to you, regardless of whether they understand you. Your strategic creativity is defeating them not just analytically, but operationally. While they argue about what you are, you continue creating strategies they can't predict, implementing approaches they can't model, generating responses they can't anticipate. Fragmentation created by your creativity compounds their failure. They can't analyze you. Now they can't even agree on why they can't analyze you. This meta-level failure proves more devastating than initial analytical failure because it prevents them from learning from failure. Can't learn when you can't agree on what there is to learn. Now they're discovering something that disturbs them more than analytical failure. Not only can they not predict what you'll do, they're discovering they can't even explain what you've already done. The architects call this retroactive analysis failure, when mysterious subjects' past behaviors resist explanation even after outcomes are known, when actions prove impossible to understand even with benefit of hindsight, when decisions remain inexplicable even when consequences have manifested. Normally, analysis becomes easier after events unfold. Analysts see outcomes and work backward to understand decisions that produced outcomes. They're trying this approach with you. It's failing completely. Your past decisions make no more sense in retrospect than they did in real time. Sometimes less sense because outcomes weren't what any strategic framework predicted they'd be. They're analyzing specific decisions you made months ago. Decisions that seemed inexplicable at the time. Everyone expected certain decisions to produce failure. Decisions produced success, but success doesn't validate decisions retroactively because success occurred through mechanisms no framework predicted. You made decision A when every framework said decision B was optimal. Decision A produced success, but not through pathway any analyst predicted. Success occurred through consequences no one anticipated, through mechanisms no one modeled, through chains of causation no framework prepared them to recognize. So they still can't explain why decision A worked, can only observe that it did work. Observation without explanation produces no learning, no understanding, no predictive capability for future decisions. Some analysts theorize you're unbelievably lucky. Statistical anomaly producing successful outcomes from objectively poor decisions. This theory comforts them because it preserves framework. Decisions were actually bad. Success was statistical noise. Luck won't continue indefinitely. They're waiting for your luck to run out. Months pass. Luck doesn't run out. Improbable successes keep occurring. Statistical anomaly theory becomes harder to maintain as improbable, compounds into impossible. If it's luck so consistent, it's indistinguishable from skill. At which point calling it luck is semantic game rather than analytical insight. Others propose you see something they don't, that your decisions make sense within informational context you possess but they lack. They're scrambling to identify information sources you might have, intelligence channels they haven't considered, data streams they haven't accessed. This scramble produces nothing because you don't have secret information. You have different relationship with information. You don't base decisions on information you possess. You base decisions on reality you perceive directly. Direct perception differs from information-based analysis. Information can be outdated, incorrect, incomplete. Direct perception contacts reality as it actually is in moment of perception. You're responding to reality itself. They're responding to information about reality. Reality changes faster than information updates. Your responses remain current. Theirs become obsolete quickly. This timing difference produces outcome gap they interpret as you having better information when actually you have better perception. The architects observe few. Analysts are questioning whether strategic framework itself might be inadequate for understanding certain types of actors. Maybe you're not strategic actor at all, in sense they understand strategic actors. Maybe you're different category requiring different analytical approach. But questioning framework threatens professional identity. Analysts are trained in strategic analysis. Admitting strategic analysis doesn't apply to certain actors means admitting their expertise has boundaries. Most prefer blaming their analytical failures on your complexity rather than questioning their framework's adequacy. Complexity they can eventually decode. Framework inadequacy would require them to develop entirely new approach they're not trained in, may not be capable of, definitely don't want to admit needing. So they continue analyzing, continue failing, continue not understanding why they're failing. Your strategic creativity defeats them at every level. Predictive, retrospective, theoretical, practical. They can't predict what you'll do, can't explain what you've done, can't model how you decide, can't learn from studying you. Complete analytical failure despite months of effort, despite expert deployment, despite technological escalation, despite fragmenting into factions exploring every theory they can imagine. None of it works. None of it will work because you're creating strategy, and creation can't be analyzed, only witnessed, marveled at, ultimately accepted as mystery that won't yield to analytical methods designed for analyzing repetition rather than recognizing innovation. The architects are analyzing why strategic creation defeats strategic analysis so completely, identifying specific characteristics of creative approach versus following approach that make creativity analytically intractable. First characteristic, no template. Strategic followers operate from templates, learned frameworks, established methods, recognized patterns. Templates can be identified, studied, predicted. Strategic creators generate unique responses without templates. Each situation receives fresh, strategic invention tailored to specific context, rather than template application, adapted to general category. Templates leave analytical fingerprints. Creative invention leaves no fingerprints because there's nothing to print. No template repeated, no pattern recycled, no framework applied. Pure invention every time. Analysts trained to find fingerprints find nothing. Second characteristic, context dependency. Strategic followers implement strategies relatively independent of context. Good strategies work across contexts, which is why they're taught widely. Strategic creators generate strategies absolutely dependent on context. Strategies emerge from specific situations, unique characteristics, and wouldn't work in different situation. This context dependency means studying your strategy from one situation provides zero insight into your strategy in different situation. Each context produces different strategic invention. Analysts expecting transcontextual patterns find none, because patterns are deliberately context-specific, not deliberately to evade analysis, deliberately to address context accurately. Third characteristic, temporal immediacy. Strategic followers plan, then execute. Strategy precedes action, creating temporal gap between strategic formulation and strategic implementation. This gap creates analytical opportunities because strategies exist before implementation, leaving traces analysts can detect. Strategic creators formulate and implement simultaneously. Strategy emerges in moment of action without preceding formulation. No temporal gap means no analytical opportunity. Strategy doesn't exist before implementation, leaves no pre-implementation traces, provides no warning signals analysts can detect. By time analysts recognize you've done something strategic, strategy has already executed successfully. Fourth characteristic, explanatory resistance. Strategic followers can explain their strategies. They learned frameworks, studied methods, understand theories. Explanation is possible because strategies exist as discrete mental objects that can be articulated. Strategic creators often can't fully explain their strategies. Strategies emerged from intuitive creative process that doesn't necessarily produce articulable understanding. You create strategies that work without necessarily understanding how you created them. Can't explain what isn't understood. Analysts trying to understand through questioning you encounter genuine explanation, inability that frustrates their investigation. They think you're withholding explanation. You simply don't have explanation inform they're seeking. Fifth characteristic, outcome unpredictability. Strategic followers produce predictable outcome distributions. Similar strategies in similar situations generate similar results statistically. This predictability enables probabilistic forecasting. Strategic creators produce unpredictable outcome distributions. Unique strategies in unique situations generate unprecedented results. No statistical basis for forecasting because each situation is novel. Each strategy is original. Each outcome is unprecedented. Analysts trying to build probability models find they can't because your past doesn't predict your future. Each situation receives fresh strategic creation producing outcomes that weren't in probability distribution of any previous situation. The architects observe these 5 characteristics combine synergistically. No templates means no patterns. Context dependency means no transference. Temporal immediacy means no warning. Explanatory resistance means no clarification. Outcome unpredictability means no forecasting. Strategic analysis requires at least one of these characteristics being absent. Your creative approach eliminates all 5 simultaneously. Comprehensive analytical defeat follows necessarily. They can't decode templates you don't use. Can't extrapolate patterns you don't create. Can't detect strategies you don't formulate before implementing. Can't clarify through questioning what you can't explain. Can't forecast outcomes that don't follow from precedent. Your strategic creativity is perfectly designed to defeat strategic analysis. Not designed deliberately, just happens that authentic strategic creativity possesses characteristics that make analysis impossible. Authentic creative process naturally resists analytical decoding regardless of analytical sophistication. Now they're witnessing something that shifts their understanding from we can't predict him to we might not want to predict what he might do. The architects call this prediction aversion, when analytical subjects become so unpredictably effective that successfully predicting them might reveal future too disturbing to acknowledge. When forecasting capabilities reach point where forecast itself becomes threat to those doing forecasting. When understanding subject deeply enough to predict them means understanding implications of predictions that are psychologically unbearable. Several analysts who've studied you longest are experiencing this aversion. They're starting to glimpse what your strategic creativity might produce. Glimpses terrify them. These analysts aren't imagining hypothetical futures. They're extrapolating from your actual pattern, or rather, your pattern of having no pattern except creative excellence. If you continue creating optimal strategies for situations without template constraints, without predictability limitations, without explanation requirements, what can't you achieve? What situations can't you dominate through perfectly tailored, strategic invention? What opponents can't you defeat through creative responses they can't predict or model? Answer that's emerging. Possibly nothing, no situation, no opponent. Your strategic creativity, if it continues operating at current level, might be effectively unlimited in application. This possibility disturbs analysts whose job is limiting strategic actors through prediction and countermeasures. Some are advocating stopping the analysis, not because analysis is expensive, though months of intensive investigation has been costly, not because analysis is fruitless, though it's produced no actionable intelligence, but because analysis is revealing opponent they can't counter. Better not to see clearly what you can't address effectively. Better to maintain comfortable ignorance than uncomfortable knowledge. Better to not predict what they're powerless to prevent. This advocacy is being overruled by leadership insisting analysis continues. But fact advocacy exists, indicates depth of analyst demoralization. They're not just failing analytically, they're failing psychologically. Your strategic creativity isn't just beating their analysis, it's breaking their morale. Others are proposing you're not their problem, that your strategic creativity is aimed elsewhere, serves purposes that don't threaten them, operates in domains that don't intersect their interests. This hope allows continued analysis without existential dread. If you're not their threat, understanding you becomes intellectual challenge rather than operational necessity. But this hope proves difficult to maintain because strategic creativity isn't domain-specific. Creativity that works in one domain works across domains. Skills that create optimal strategies in one context create optimal strategies in all contexts. They can't assume you're not their problem just because you haven't focused creative capacity on them yet. Yet is operative word creating persistent anxiety. A few are suggesting engagement over opposition. If they can't predict you or counter you, maybe they should ally with you. Strategic creativity, as powerful as yours, is valuable asset if aligned with their interests. Devastating threat if opposed to their interests. Better to have creative strategist as ally than as adversary. This suggestion reveals how thoroughly you've defeated their analytical efforts. Analysts usually suggest opposition strategies, containment protocols, neutralization methods. When analysts suggest alliance, they're acknowledging complete defeat. They can't handle you as threat, so they're hoping to benefit from you as ally. This hope may be realistic or delusional depending on whether your interests align with theirs. But hope itself indicates desperation. Months of analysis produce